Hey guys, it's Chelsa Messenger with Picks and Parlays. We're talking NBA action because it's March, but there's plenty more to bet on than just March Madness. We're talking Blazers and Heat. It's almost the Sweet 16 in March Madness, and we've got a promo code. Guess what it is? It's SWEET for 20% off the entire site at picksandparlays.net. Heat home favorites on the advanced line, -2.5. Total is 217.5. The Blazers come in 25-18 on the year, 21-22 against the number. Meanwhile, the Heat are 22-22, 18, 25, and 1 against the spread. We've got Craig Trapp joining us to get an early read on this game. Craig, I know these are advanced lines and we're still waiting on some injuries, some questionable guys for both of these teams, but what's your initial look at both of these teams?
The biggest thing I've thought of both of these teams this year is I thought both of these teams would come in, they'd be top 5 or 6 in their conferences. It hasn't really happened for either one. Both a lot to do with injuries and COVID, breaks for several key players. But I think this is an important game for the Miami Heat. So my better play will be on the total. We'll talk about that in a second. When you play the Heat, it's going to be about, can you guard the three-point shooters? Because they really drive and kick. And if you can guard the three-point shooters, and not have to double, on Jimmy Butler, you have a real good chance to beat them. That's been their key this year. But the Blazers, they don't seem to stay in front of anybody, Chelsea. I mean, they've given up, they lost last time. Brooklyn gave up 116, lost to Dallas 132, beat Dallas 119. I mean, these teams, they just don't stay in front of people, which doesn't make any sense because, obviously Damian Lillard is a ridiculous athlete. He should be a better defender. CJ McCollum should be a better defender. It's just they don't put the effort into it, too. So to me, I think you have to take the Heat here. Both these last losses by Portland were not pretty. I mean, they should have beat Brooklyn. Only had James Harden, didn't have, of course, Durant or Kyrie. But the Heat are also sliding a little bit. They lost to Phoenix and then Indiana in overtime. You can't blame the Phoenix loss. Phoenix was playing really, really good last night, but back-to-back losses to Indiana before that. I think Jimmy Butler, he gets upset. He's not a guy that you want to let down. I think you take the Heat if you're playing the side in this game and what looks like a Jimmy Butler special here.
Yeah, and then let's take a look at that advanced number for the total, 217.5, a little bit on the low side. Any leanings there?
Yeah, I would be on the better play, especially if it's at that number to the over, because there's nothing better for your offense than you see this Portland defense come running into town. I mean, they just don't stay in front of you. I think Jimmy Butler will have a field day. Then once they help on him, I think the three-point shooters will really key off here. I think this game goes way over. I know that the Heat are an under team on the year. But that's because they usually play against the Eastern Conference. They're not playing against the higher scoring of Western Conference as often. I think anytime you see Portland, you have to think over. They've definitely been an over team all year. I think this low number, as long as it's in this below 220, you take the over here as we see the Heat win and the better play on the over on Thursday night.
All right. That's going to do it for our NBA talk here on Picks and Parlays. Great stuff from Craig Trapp. As always, Craig, thanks for joining us.